Start streaming. All right, we're going. We're live here with F101, making sure that I can actually hear things because the Twitch app is a horrible mess. Horrible mess. All right. Okay, I can hear myself. Andrew, give me a little sound check.
Sound check 1 2.
All right, we're good. We're crazy. I can hear you. I can hear myself. That's all. That's the only people who are here. So it's a little. It's actually the regular crew at this point. Is the two of us. And so yeah, F101. How about them Eagles Packers, huh? Talk about what a way to end an exciting Sunday with a horribly boring game. Oh no, was that Monday? That was Monday, wasn't it?
What a way to end the sports week.
Yeah, what a way
Or
to
start
end
the
the
sports
sports
week.
week. Well, start the real week, end the NFL week. How about that?
Yeah.
Horrible game.
But
Football
you
and
know what?
my F101 podcast. Get used to it. We got to have a
Football is
cold
more
open of something.
exciting. We know it's more exciting than football.
Well, it depends on the game, I suppose. But F101 was Formula One was definitely better than football this week.
That's for sure.
There was a lot of stinkers. And Brian Dable got fired, and Flavio Briatore stands strong. One
I don't know
incompetent
which.
man dies, the other lives. Um, yeah, so that's the cold open. Let's talk about football. um, this is F101 week 21.5. This is the Brazil review, and what a race it was. Finally, some good racing. But before we do that, we do have some late news. Colapinto over the race weekend had been announced to sign with Alpine for next year, and next year only. It's only for 2026. Leaving Red Bull and Racing Bulls as the only teams with vacancies. My personal prediction: Red Bull is going to have Hadjar. They're going to promote him or demote him up to Red Bull. However you view that seat change, is that a promotion or demotion? Maybe next year with new leadership, it'll actually be good. We'll see. Racing Bulls, in my opinion, will probably keep Lawson and add Arvid Lindblad, leaving Tsunoda out of the sport and off to potentially IndyCar or another racing series. We will see what Tsunoda does. I will say if Tsunoda leaves the sport, I will add a section into every episode of keeping up with Yuki. So we'll see what he gets up to. Um, and hopefully he doesn't just drop off the grid. So although I would support it if he's like, I'm gonna go meditate on the top of Mount Fuji, and if you want to contact me, you got to climb the top of Mount Fuji, and we'll chat. I'd be okay with that. I feel like he could
Would
do
you
that.
climb to the top of Mount Fuji?
Hell yeah, I'd climb the top of Mount Fuji. You kidding me? I feel like let me go meet this man. And
I
we'd see
feel
eye
like
to
you.
eye because I think we're the same height. He might be a little shorter than me. But actually, that's a good question. How tall is Yuki Tsunoda? Let's how tall is Yuki Tsunoda? He's 5'3". Never mind. I am slightly taller than Yuki. Anyways, that's late news. In other news, John Elkin, the CEO, I think, of Ferrari, like the brand, made a comment about how he wants his drivers to focus on driving and to shut the fuck up. He's like, the team's fine, the engineers are fine, the pit crew's fine, the drivers are the issue. And everyone's like, I don't know, man. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's true, what you're saying. I don't think that's accurate to the situation. But he said it, and he's like in charge, so no one can do anything about it. So, and that sparked a lot of people being like, "Uh-oh, Leclerc's gonna leave, and so will Hamilton." But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Hamilton's retiring after next year. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going to another team after Ferrari. In my
No.
opinion. So
I don't want Hamilton retire next year though, because I need another year for Ferrari to get their shit together before Behrman heads over there.
I think you need more than a year. I think it's going to take more than a year.
Well,
Nate,
I can
hello,
hope.
welcome in. I saw he joined. He might be muted. That's okay. Um, I don't take attendance, so it's fine. Uh, let's do Brazil, shall we? Let's do Brazil.
You said
This
don't take attendance. Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can.
Oh man, dude, I was like talking that whole time, making little comments.
Didn't hear a
I,
single bit of it. Let me see. Let me make sure I can hear you on Twitch,
oh
just to
yeah.
be just to be safe. We've had issues in the past.
Hmm.
I heard your first one, Nate, and then I did not hear
This
your
is the
second
first
one.
thing I've heard from you.
Oh,
All right, Nate, give me a
all right.
sound
'Cause
check.
I've been mic check 1 2.
All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. All right, we're
Word.
cursed.
Uh, yeah, my bad. I've been talking since like the Yuki on Mount Fuji comment was made, and I was like,
Damn.
I don't know if I'd be super down to climb Mount Fuji for an audience with Yuki, or if I'd be like, is this a little racially charged? Is this?
It's his home country. He lives
Oh,
there.
oh,
So I'm
and then
making you climb
also,
Mount Fuji with me to go see Yuki. You don't have a
word. I
choice.
mean, if I was gonna say, I mean, if you're doing it, then word.
We're all
Um,
doing it. It'll be a live F101 with Yuki Tsunoda.
and then as for the Ferrari comment, I feel like Fred Vasseur has been quoted saying like it's gonna take like 3 years, but I think he was also saying that like when he accepted the job.
I think he
But
was being optimistic.
I'm pretty sure it's in like F1 Beyond the Grid. I'll have to find the episode.
Yeah,
Very
look,
confident though.
Ferrari's got a lot of issues. Ferrari's got a lot of issues. Um, but yeah, so we will keep it. We'll see how the drivers respond. Um, but first, excuse me, we got to talk about Brazil. Really quickly, we'll do the sprint. I forgot about the sprint to be honest because the race was so good and so exciting. But the sprint finishing order was Norris, Antonelli, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso, Hamilton, Gasly getting that final point. Then Stroll, Hadjar, Ocon, Behrman, Tsunoda, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Lawson, and Albon. Did not finish Colapinto, Piastri, and Bortoleto, who had a horrible, horrible home race. Colapinto, Piastri, and Hulk all went off at the same part of the track. There was no traction because of the water, and Norris potentially splashed water onto the track. Timmy was like, it's like Mario Kart. I saw a lot of Mario Kart memes. Max Verstappen ran over the same wet patch as everyone else, but he didn't lose it because he's Max Verstappen. And then Bortoleto lost. Hulkenberg also did not crash. Hulkenberg managed to recover the car. Piastri and Colapinto did not. Bortoleto later lost traction on the main straight, trying to make a pass, and he had a crazy big crash. Like his car went airborne. That was really scary, but he's fine and he raced. But Norris wins and the Mercedes pair follow, and the winners made the most of the conditions. And it was a pretty uneventful sprint race aside from that. Any comments on the sprint before we get into the main event?
You know what we're about.
Pit
Mm-hmm.
lane to podium. That's what we're about.
Yeah, we're about Antonelli outperforming George Russell. I assume is what you're
That too.
talking about.
Rookie superiority.
Rookie showed up. Qualifying was Antonelli was really on fire in qualifying, and so was Behrman. To be honest, at least in real qualifying, I thought Behrman was gonna fight for the front row. He looked fast.
He was definitely hoping for it, just not quite enough there.
Yeah, I mean he looked real good though. So that's the sprint. Let's just dive into the race. This was one hell of a race. The finishing order: Norris, Antonelli, Verstappen, Russell, Piastri, Behrman, Lawson, Hadjar, Hulkenberg, and Gasly again getting the final point available. followed by Albon, Ocon, Sainz, Alonso, Colapinto, Stroll, Tsunoda. Bortoleto, Leclerc, and Hamilton did not finish. It was a good day for Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Kimi Antonelli. Yes, that is our podium. But, the good day, there's more to the story. And then the bad day, deep breath, everybody. Get ready for this one. Gabriel Bortoleto, Oscar Piastri, Yuki Tsunoda, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari fans, the Brazilian home crowd, and Williams. A lot of people had a really bad race, which is crazy given how good the race itself was. To lead, Lando had a perfect weekend, topping every single session, increasing his championship lead. But as it tends to be on a weekend when McLaren dominates, there's a different headline for everybody to focus on. And that would be Max Verstappen going from pit lane to podium. He went pit lane to P3, puts on another insane performance in Brazil. It's must-watch TV when Max Verstappen is racing at Interlagos. He was overtaking everyone everywhere. There's no stopping him. He did have to pit early for a puncture. He made the most of every opportunity after. He was even leading the race at a point. And I don't know if the mediums he was on at the time would have held up for the remaining 20 or so laps of the race, but I would have liked to see him try it and go for the win. But getting third and pushing for second was definitely the smarter choice. And he didn't feel like he left anything out there. He didn't feel like, oh, I could have won if I shouldn't have pit. He felt like pitting was the right choice. And I saw some commentary after that in Brazil, when the tires fall off, it's not gradual. They just drop off a cliff. And he would have not only not gotten first if that happened, he wouldn't even been on the podium likely. So pitting ultimately was the smart decision, and he goes from pit lane to P3. So that's he's just so good here. He's so good here. It's crazy. It's a driver's track, is what they say. And so the better drivers get to really show off what they can do. And to Lando's credit, he was really on it all weekend, led every session. He earned that win, certainly. And qualifying on pole both times helped a lot. Nate, Andrew, anything?
I have a theoretical question for you.
Uh-oh.
If Max doesn't have to pit because of a puncture and his ability to go a little bit further on the hards, do you think he could have ended up in first? Because I think so.
I think he would have had a better chance. I think it all depends on how McLaren's pits played off in that moment. I think, there would have been different, if he pits later, he comes out in a different position. There's different traffic at the time. He's closer to McLaren, which could add pressure, or at least closer to Lando. So maybe he was on fire. I don't know if he would have caught. Norris was pretty far ahead. So
Yeah.
maybe. He got close to Kimi, which is saying enough. But he was able to pass Russell and Piastri at the end there because his tires were fresher. And so how does that look in a different scenario? I don't know. I think he could have gotten past him anyway. But he definitely had an easier time doing it. So it's hard to say. Maybe, definitely, could he? Yes, I think could he is yes. Would he? That I can't say for sure. I don't know. I don't think he would have. I think maybe P2. But could he have? Certainly, because that's just what he does.
Yeah. I'm also just thinking from Hulkenberg took his mediums to 38 laps.
I think Max would have been at 40 plus though.
Right. Well, he would have taken the hards 40 plus. So could he have finished?
Oh yeah.
Hards to mediums, and then finish the race there. So maybe when he's on that medium stint, he doesn't necessarily have to pass anyone. He more just has to defend. But then again, that also brings into the question of, will the medium tires still last enough? So
I don't know. And I think if he does that, do other people change their strategies? You know what I mean?
Probably.
So it's interesting. We'll never know. We'll never know. I think he could have done it, but it would have been hard. And Lando was really far ahead, so that's also a big factor that is in all scenarios.
Yeah.
Nate, any comments on Lando? I know you got him
Our resident expert.
You know I've got him.
because I am part of the group chat. I read the
Actually,
group
though,
chat.
my Brazil notes, I don't actually have Lando listed on. I kid you not. Let me just for evidence. Just for evidence, I'm sending you a text with my notes in it. But yeah, I don't really have any crazy comments about Lando. Um, relating to the race itself. Just a superb weekend. I otherwise I've got nothing.
All right,
I actually have nothing.
there you go. Our resident expert left speechless by Lando Norris.
Yeah, just I mean, in the midst of all the chaos, he was steady. Um,
Yeah, he was. He did well. I mean, certainly. And
yeah.
as a Lando hater, I think he could have done more. I think it wasn't his best win. And I think he sucks, and he's going to throw the rest of the season. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he said he wanted more though too. Like he thought there was more to be had out there. Which I
He
mean, I
didn't.
don't necessarily like fault him for
He,
saying that. But like in regards to that, yeah, like I think he also was like of the same mind. Like yeah, like there's more out there.
he certainly didn't need
Which
more.
yeah, didn't need more. So I know there's been a lot though going, and I know we're not here to like race preview, but I know there's been a lot about like his comments for like next race weekend and
I haven't
stuff.
seen
But
anything he said, to be honest.
no,
Is
yeah,
he
he
downplaying?
nothing crazy. No, well, I guess sort of, but he was more like like it's not going to be an easy weekend.
No, certainly not.
Um,
I agree with that. I
no,
don't
yeah,
think
and then like
they're not gonna be as strong in Vegas, certainly.
no, yeah, and then people were questioning like, why do you say that? Like that was some of the media questioning, and he was like, well, historically, like this is a track that we haven't done well on. Of course, we're doing a lot better this year in general, but you know, again, historically, like it's not a track like we've done well on, and no one's just gonna like let us have it.
I
You
mean,
know,
for all
it,
of his stupid comments that he makes, he's right. Like that's
no,
not
yeah, like
like that one's right. He's right about that.
no, yeah, like I think if you see the clip, or if I can find it and try to send it, but like yeah, like it. But anyways, that point is like that's the most like Lando news stuff that like I
Yeah.
would have like recently because like again, just superb weekend, stalwart, steady. Like I can't, I certainly no
No,
complaints, a lot of
superb for
praise.
one car.
Hmm.
Superb for one of your cars.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
we'll
This
get
isn't
to
what
that.
he cares
yeah.
about, though.
We'll get to the other one. We'll get to the other one. But
I
before
don't
we
care
get
about
to
him until
him,
he takes Stroll out of Aston.
before we get to that, we got to get to Antonelli, our final podium placer. Well, not our final, I guess. Max was the
Don't do it.
final
He
podium,
killed it.
but we did talk about Max first. So, uh, Antonelli held off Verstappen at the end, put in a really strong race, making it the second time in a row and second time total that he's beat Russell on a Sunday. Qualified in second and kept it. Big props to him. He raced really, really strong. Mercedes gamble on him is going to pay off. I don't have a doubt about that in like the long run. And he's taken that fight to Russell, beating him twice now. Vegas is going to be a good test because they should be strong there. Um, and I mean, I don't know, if Antonelli beats Russell on merit the final races, like that's really good for him. And and if Max comes knocking on Mercedes' door, maybe Russell gets the boot. But yeah, Antonelli had put. I mean, Sam was really happy about it. He was texting me. Big Antonelli fan, that guy. Uh, and he should be. Antonelli did really, really well. 2 weekends in a row, Antonelli has done well. Um, But yeah, so it was a crazy. So that's the podium. into the race. It was a crazy first few laps that saw Stroll send Bortoleto into the wall, Yuki getting revenge and sending Stroll into a spin and then getting a penalty for it. Verstappen overtaking everybody, Hamilton dropping, and we got a safety car. And then on the restart, Piastri locked up and tagged Antonelli, who hit Leclerc, which sent Leclerc out of the race. Piastri got a 10-second penalty for this, which I personally disagree with. In my opinion, and in the opinion of some other people, it was a racing incident. And I personally hate that the stewards, excuse me, I don't like that the stewards judge penalties based on outcome, not intent, no matter who the driver is. This is something that they've been doing for a long time, where they're like, okay, driver did this, and here's what happened. Sure, he didn't mean to do that, and it was a racing incident, probably, but because someone else got, like, sent out of the race, we gotta punish him for it really harshly. And I don't think Piastri deserved the penalty there. 5 seconds, maybe, if you want to give him a penalty, but 10 seconds is crazy. And it's a racing incident, and like you're gonna tell him to not go for the move, like you gotta go for it. And Kimi could have left more space. He had a good amount of room, and I get that you don't want to just open the door, but and of course it doesn't happen if Piastri doesn't lock up. But that's racing, like that's a racing incident, and I don't agree with the penalty. It shuffled Oscar down to 5th as he continues his poor run of form, having not been on the podium since Monza. So I don't agree at all with the penalty. I hate that they judge on outcome, not intent. I try to draw a comparison in like other sports of like how that would work. But it's hard because there's not a lot of other sports don't have like a lengthy penalty review that they don't enact until later. It's not like football, there's a false start and they give it a few plays to review it and then they penalize the team. Like it's instant. In hockey, it's instant. So it's hard to come up with like a comparison, but it's just so frustrating when something that is clearly a racing incident, or like something that's not even like that bad of an incident. Like Leclerc, he actually didn't take Leclerc out. Like he hit Antonelli, and then that, like Kimmy must have just hit Leclerc. I mean, he just hit Leclerc at like a weird, like the perfect angle to rip his whole tire off. um, and so like yes, Leclerc got sent out of the race, and like that is obviously very unfortunate, but it's not. To me, it doesn't feel like it should have been penalized as hard. And I would be making this argument for. I know I said earlier I'm a Lando Norris hater, and it's true. But if Lando was in this position, I would be like, yeah, it's a racing incident. And I don't think that a penalty, it's certainly not a 10-second penalty, should have been given on any driver, no matter who they are. I just think the stewards are so weird and they're inconsistent because it's different stewards each race, and it's just a mess. I feel like. And like the stupid ahead at the apex rule, I just think the governing is not what it should be. They're calling this the pinnacle of motorsport, but then like the stewards room, it's like a bunch of cross-eyed nose pickers.
My God.
Jesus
Like
Christ.
it
Put that on a
is.
sign at the next sporting game. Good grief.
Cross-eyed nose stewards are cross-eyed nose pickers. It's like it seems like this is the pinnacle of motorsport, but then like the stewards take a million years to make a stupid decision, and anytime they make a decision, it's always like, well, there's a lot of like, and on there is because of the fandom of F1, there is going to be controversy, but there's always just like, it's always like, well, did they really do the right thing? Blah blah blah. So you know, the stupid it's just annoying. It's frustrating to watch. And it's frustrating to watch like Oscar is like, what could he have done if he doesn't get that penalty? And he's fighting Kimmy and George and Max. Like, what happens in that scenario? You lose out on really good racing, which is even more frustrating. Like, if you're a racing fan, like you should not like that was a penalty. Because you're missing out on some good racing. And the drivers can't do anything about it. So that's my rant on the stewards and the penalty. Anyone else want to follow up that? Hey, anyone got some creative insults for the stewards? I'm telling you right now, if you're watching this, put it in the comments. Put your insults to the stewards in the comments. I want to read them all.
This is Max's official slogan for becoming the new FIA president.
Oh yeah, put me a guy with no. My only racing experience is road rage incidents on 70. So that's all I got.
That might as well be NASCAR in some cases.
Hey, Robin's racing, brother. It's definitely like WEC. I don't know if you guys have been. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to what's been going on in WEC, but World Endurance Championship. But there's a lot of guys just like sticking their whole arm out the window at the end of the race and flipping off the people next to them. It's so good.
That's amazing.
It happened twice. It happened in the first and the last race of the season, and both times the driver getting flipped off was the same guy.
I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Coincidence? I think.
And of course, he was driving a BMW. It just makes sense. It just makes sense.
Man.
That's the WEC detour. There's a lot of detours on this episode. So yeah, that's the Oscar penalty. There was another 2 penalties in the race. They both went to Tsunoda. He got a 10-second penalty for hitting Stroll, and then another one for not serving the first correctly and putting him in dead last, which is not helping his case to Red Bull to keep him on. Unfortunately, Yuki had a pretty horrible time. But he wasn't doing as bad as Ferrari. Double DNF. Leclerc gets hit by Antonelli, and Hamilton gets caught up in traffic early on in the race. So he has a collision. He hits Colapinto. He loses his front wing. That damages the floor. He pits twice by lap 13. And after a second stop, I turned to Hannah. I was watching the race with her, and I said, he's going to retire the car. Just watch. They're keeping him out to save face, but he's going to retire. And then lap 38, he retires. Horrible weekend for Ferrari. They dropped behind Mercedes and Red Bull in the constructors. The full standings we will get to at the very end. For the previews, the standings will be at the front, and for the reviews, the standings will be at the end. Yeah, so Ferrari, terrible time, and then of course Elkin comes on. He's like, the drivers are the problem, and everyone with a brain that's not like 90%, gasoline fumes and pasta is like, brother, what are you talking about? Not that John Elkin's brain is 90% gasoline fumes and pasta. I think it's 90% money, 10% gasoline fumes and pasta. And I don't mean that in a complimentary way, by the way. Drop your John Elkin insults in the comments. But as we've said, I think Andrew said it in our group chat, rookies showed out this weekend. Behrman, Hadjar, and obviously Antonelli especially. Behrman was on fire all qualifying. Like I said, he was going to make a fight for the top 2 rows. And Ocon couldn't do much at all, which makes it another weekend. Behrman was the stronger Haas. And I think he's going to finish the year strong. Like I said earlier, both Racing Bulls had good races and got another double points finish. Increases their lead on Aston, brings them closer to another scoreless Williams, who just weren't on it this weekend. Sainz was sick on Thursday. Neither driver could get anything out of the car. And they couldn't move up the pack, which I think is really bad, given that this race was an overtaking frenzy. There were so many overtakes this race, not just including Max, like everyone down the field. And I feel like Williams was always on the receiving end. I didn't really see any good Williams overtakes, which is really rough. Like, that's not a good sign for the team. I think the highlight of their weekend was the driver's parade, which is not great. You don't want that to be the highlight of your weekend.
That's rough.
Although, I mean, it was a fun driver's parade, certainly, but, you want more. Hulkenberg scored in the race. Alonso scored in the sprint. Stroll didn't score in either, and Bortoleto didn't finish either. Both of these drivers kind of had like a tale of 2 drivers each team. Although the vibes in Sauber, I feel like, are better than the vibes in Aston. And finally, Gasly. Poor Davey's not here. We're not even having a moment of silence for him this week because Alpine actually did something good. He scores the final point in the sprint and the race. He was on it all weekend. He looked really good in qualifying. The car came alive under him here, but not so much under his teammate. And Gasly continues to be the only good thing about Alpine right now, and the only point scorer for Alpine right now as well. So that's the race. Any other comments from the two of you about the race, the drivers, Brazil as a whole?
I don't have. I mean, I have a prediction. I'm calling Behrman scoring points in all last 3 races.
Ooh.
I know he wasn't strong at Monza's, and it's, as I've been told, it's gonna be the closest kind of comparison to Vegas. But I think he's got the car under control, and I think he's ready to show why he's, maybe not. He's close to Antonelli. I mean, he's not got the car, but from a skill perspective, I don't think that gap is big. I still give Antonelli the nod, but I think Behrman's keeping pace.
I'd agree. I think I can see him scoring for the remainder. You just in the race because there's also a sprint still.
Yeah, I know, but just the races. I feel like
Fair.
he does better, for whatever reason, he does better with race qualifying than he does with sprint qualifying.
He has more time.
Mm-hmm.
Could be
And
part
so
of it.
that's really where he's been showing out. But I'd like to see him score in the sprints too.
Naturally. Nate, final. Oh no, continue, Andrew. Sorry.
I said, hey, we gotta catch. I think we still gotta catch Aston a little bit. So once we do that, then I'll be happy.
We will get there, but yes. Nate, final thoughts on the race?
Yeah. Charles is a victim.
Yeah, a little bit. He is a victim. He's so vulnerable.
Yeah. Charles is a victim. 10 seemed excessive for Oscar. Like you said earlier, I get if you want to give 5, but would I still, yeah, genuine racing incident. But yeah, Charles definitely a victim there. And Max is a racer. I swear on everything he gets off on the thought of it.
Well, what did I say in the group chat? I said that was childhood abuse manifesting as a kink.
Yeah, I 1000%, dude. Like, there's no shot. Like, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
He's good,
I
man.
think every year at Brazil they should just give Max whatever the fastest car that year, they just give it to Max and see how many people he can overtake.
Make him start last.
Yeah.
Let him speed in the pit lane.
That would be dangerous.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, good grief.
He could. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind with the right conditions he could go last to first. It's just like he would have to be. He could have done it. I think he could have. If he was in the McLaren, he would have won. I think for sure. But he wasn't. He was in the Red Bull, and he got third. And he goes pit lane to P3. Charles goes P3 to pit lane. The universe gives and it takes. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
That's
Unless
crazy
you're
to
a
think
Ferrari
about.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Ferrari. I mean, I didn't see like Ferrari fans' commentary. I know Ferrari fans are pretty quick to defend. Like they're like weirdly enough, they're realists, despite being delusional. Like when Kimi hit Leclerc, did Kimi hit Leclerc a few races ago? I feel like Kimi was involved in an incident, and then Piastri. Every time I see this happens, there's a lot of people who are very quick to defend the other car. They're like, "Hey, man, it was a racing incident. Like, don't get like there was one dude, I think Kimmy took out one of the two, I don't remember. And the guy was calling like he was like this dude was like Kimmy's dangerous, he shouldn't be driving, and people are like, man, calm down. It's a racing incident, bro. Like, relax. So I think I've seen a lot of like just over the course of the year of people being like when Ferrari is the victim, as Nate has put it. Um, the other cars, if it's in like a racing incident, people are like, hey, look at all the data here. Like, I get we're all like super fans, but truly, it's not their fault in some occasions. So, uh, I don't think Ferrari fans were super blaming of Oscar. Although at least not that I saw. I'm sure there were some. I'm sure there were a lot. Not John Elkin. John Elkin blamed Leclerc. Not outright, but he implied it. So yes, that is Brazil. It was a good race. And I think next weekend's race is going to be good as well. That will be Brazil. Not Brazil, I'm sorry. This was Brazil. That'll be Vegas. But before we do that, certified Ferrari moment. And Ferrari's back, baby. It's Ferrari.
It's going home.
Yep, they brought it home. Their double DNF gets them this week's certified Ferrari moment. Honorable mention to the Red Bull pit crew for not serving Yuki's penalty correctly. That was really the only blunder of this race. There wasn't a ton of blunders this race, but the double DNF, due to like unfortunate circumstances, is a very Ferrari thing. So Ferrari brings it home. I'll mail them the trophy. I did get a cease and desist from them. They said, please stop sending us these stupid trophies. But I changed my address so they don't know it's me. Pick the podium. If it's real for Verstappen, it's real for me. But not this time. Everyone who picked Verstappen to win the race were wrong. While the only non-believer, Nate, who picked Norris, was correct. And
Shut the non-believer. Shut.
for reference... Hello? I think something just fell over in my fridge. All right, well, that's a later issue.
Oh,
I just heard a weird noise
the
from
ghost
my
in your
kitchen.
apartment is not a believer.
The ghost in my apartment's a Ferrari fan. He's mad about the comments. Everyone but Nate picked Verstappen. Me and Andrew had Verstappen, Norris, Piastri. Nate had Norris, Verstappen, Russell. Sam had Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, and Dave had Verstappen, Gasly, Colapinto. Nate got Norris right, and no one else got anything right. Everyone did get right person, wrong place points, though. Nate extends his lead to 20 over Sam, 433 to 413. I have 397. Andrew, 363. Perfect weekend, and you're right back in this thing. And then Dave is 74. Will Dave crack triple digits this year? That is I'm going to text him. I'm going to say I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Crack triple digits this year. That's your goal. But you have to keep predicting like you are predicting. Like, you can't just be like Norris in first every race. You got to be like, keep doing your crackhead predictions. So, that's picked the podium. And now we have some World Drivership Champion standings. Norris, 390. Piastri, 366. And Verstappen with 341. Norris extends his lead. Verstappen's coming up close. Piastri keeps falling. So, if Piastri wins every race and Norris gets second, Norris still wins the championship. So Norris needs to fall below second for Piastri to have a chance. And Piastri would have to win out. Same with Verstappen. Verstappen has to win out and Norris has to not finish. So it's tough. And anything can happen for sure. In a solid fourth place is Russell, 276. Leclerc with 214, I don't think is catching him. Hamilton, 148. Antonelli, 122. Now, there's 3 races and a sprint left. No. Yes, 3 races and a sprint left. If Antonelli could pass Hamilton. Antonelli could get 5th. It's going to be tough because he's 26 points behind. But if Hamilton continues to do poorly, there's a world where Antonelli passes Hamilton for 5th place there. Or I'm sorry, for 6th place there. Behind Antonelli is Albon with 73. Don't think he's catching Antonelli there. Hulkenberg and Hadjar are tied at 43. Behrman and Alonso are tied at 40. Sainz has 38, Lawson 36, Stroll 32, Ocon 30, Tsunoda 28, Gasly 22, Bortoleto 19, Colapinto 0. So that Hulkenberg to Stroll, that's 11 points. That's an 11-point difference between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different drivers. And it's a 13-point difference if you want to include Tsunoda, 15 if you want to include Yuki. So, like, it's really close in the midfield. And those I feel like are going to shift around a lot. It's the fight for, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the fight for 8th. Hulkenberg's got 8th right now. Who's going to take it? Who's going to take it at the end of the year? I don't think Hulkenberg is. I don't know if Hulkenberg keeps it. I think Hadjar and Behrman are your top 2 contenders for that. Maybe Sainz if Williams gets their shit together. And Bortoleto if there's a miracle. And then the constructors standings, McLaren has clinched the title, but Mercedes is in second with 398. Red Bull has moved up to third with 366. Ferrari has been booted from second place down to fourth with 362. Williams stays still at 111. Racing Bull is 82, Aston 72, Haas 70, Sauber 62, and Alpine 22. So it's still all to play for in that midfield and up at the second to top there. So it's gonna be close. Nothing will be settled except for Mercedes or McLaren clinching the constructors. I don't think anything else is going to be settled till the dust clears in Abu Dhabi. So, any closing thoughts before we before we head out of here?
I don't have any.
Nate? Uh-oh.
Good talk.
Yeah. Probably muted. It's fine. Yeah, so that's F101 week 21 and a half. We will be back next week for the not the Brazil. I keep saying Brazil. For the Vegas preview. And then the week after that will be the Vegas review Qatar preview. But that Wednesday is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So I don't know if there's going to be a show that day. People are going to be traveling and whatnot. So we might do it No, I can't do it Tuesday because I can't do it Tuesday. Might be Monday. We might have to do like an impromptu. We'll figure it out. Maybe we do the show Monday, but we don't do pick the podium. Like I'll make the pick the podiums not due till normal time, just in case there's any like news or whatever. But we'll figure it out. I'll have a more concrete answer next week. I promise. So, excuse me. That's F101. Thank you, Andrew and Nate, for being here. If you're watching this, like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, give me your F1, your stewards insults. Give me your John Elkin insults. Put them down in the comments. You got anyone to insult as long as it's not like racist. Put it down in the comments. Just don't be overly offensive. Call them. What did I say? Cross-eyed nose pickers. Yeah, that's fine. Stuff like that. Keep it fun. And we will be back next week.
And tell us if you'd vote for us to be the FIA president.
Yes, tell us if you'd vote for me specifically. No, us. It'll be a conglomerate. It'll be all 5 of us. Even though Sam is never here. And will not likely remember the rules, but that's fine. We will do it. I'm volunteering as tribute. My argument is, hey, I can't be worse than the current guy. All right. Thank you, everybody, and good night.